right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast, episode number 129. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison. And joining me, Jared Schultz. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing just fantastic. How are you doing, Lloyd?
I'm doing good. I'm doing actually really good. My team just won. Just watched the hockey game. Jets won. We beat New Jersey twice in like less than a week. It's awesome. Screw you, Devils.
Are they any good?
The Devils? They're okay. I mean, all the teams that we've been facing recently have had injury issues, so we're taking advantage where that's what you're supposed to do when you're a team. You have to take advantage of the weak animals in the herd and go for the neck, which we've been doing lately. So that's good since we started the season off so horribly.
Well, good.
But this isn't a hockey show, so let's stop talking about that stuff.
It's funny. I think you say that like every other show.
Jared, how's it going?
It's going really
well.
How
have you been? Has there been any major changes to your life situation?
Not really. I'm just kind of home and lonely tonight.
You're batching it up. You're batching it up.
Yeah. Take that. No, yeah. My wife went to visit her mom, and so I'm all by my lonesome for a week.
And that means mega game time.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I mean, there's no kid to watch when I get home, so
yeah, that's
might as well just play some games.
Yeah, you become a kid yourself. It's all good. It's all good. Awesome. Well, let's get into the show. It's been a couple weeks since we last did one, so I guess we'll have a little bit of stuff to talk about. Why don't we start off the way we always do, which is what have we been playing? So, Jared, what you been playing recently on your iOS devices of choice? Hey, wait, before you do that, did you keep the iPad or did your wife take it?
Oh, it went.
Totally. Damn. Okay, never mind. What you been playing, Jared?
She's been writing me about how she's been playing Plants vs. Zombies for like the 12th time.
Nice.
But that reminds me, I actually was able to get the iPad last week and play a little game called Shifts. Like the button on the keyboard, plural.
Right.
What?
I said right. I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. You basically have 5 characters that it's kind of a little like FTL, the game that was kind of a breakout hit on PC. Mm-hmm. And you're in command of this ship. You have 5 little people. The 5 little people specialize in different things. You have crises happen, and you can either put them on shift and have them use crises, or you take them off shift and, then they're resting so that they're not getting too tired. So if you put someone on shift for too long, then they'll get tired and they won't do as well fighting the different crises. The goal of the game is to colonize 4 planets, and it is kind of a grid, kind of like what's those types of games that Anthony always liked?
I was going to say, you're not talking about a Trek game, are you, Jared?
It's kind of a hybrid Trek game, and I actually kind of liked it. So, Anthony, I take it all back.
Vindication, Anthony. Vindication.
So, it's kind of an interesting little game. Still getting a little bit more into it, but it's kind of cool because you play it in basically about half an hour. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it's always nice and quick. Sometimes it's not even half an hour. It's also very, very, very hard. You will probably die many times. Nice. Kind of similar to FTL. And yeah, so I've been playing that, and it's iPad only, I know. So then I've been playing this game called Infestor. Infestor is by the guys who did League of Evil that I can't remember their names right now. But it's kind of goofy because you're this little like virus type thing, and you're you like run up behind
blob or something, some blob of slime or something.
Ravenous Games. So Ravenous Games, they did League of Evil. You're a slime blob. You go take over different guys, and each guy has a different power to help you get through stuff. I was really excited about this game because it looked like a lot of fun, and it kind of reminded me of the game. I don't know if you ever played it, Stacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that one because they had different powers and stuff.
Right.
However, it's very limited in the number of guys that you get. I think it's like 4 when you beat the game. Then there's like 0 replay value. One of the cool things about League of Evil was you could go back and try and get all the briefcases and try and beat your time, etc. There's none of that.
No.
You just beat a level and it automatically takes you to the next one. You don't even go to a level select.
And even worse, there's not a lot of like danger. So you'll be investing a guy, which means you just basically jump on his head. And if that guy hits spikes, you launch up in the air. So you don't die by your guy like dying. Like you're infesting the guy and then he just turns to pulp and you don't die. So you don't really have to, like, you basically using the humans as fodder, as like extra hit points or whatever as you get through the levels. Like I found that was just like, okay, well this is stupid. And then every once in a while you'll need to use that as kind of a mechanic to launch to higher areas or whatever. I don't know. I love kind of retro-ish kind of platformers, and this one just didn't do it for me at all.
Yeah, it feels like they have a little bit of a formula that maybe they need to try and do something else for a bit and come back to it. So then I've been playing Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. So this was a big release back in January. It was originally a DS game, and then it came out for PC, and now it's on iOS. It's a very, very interesting kind of puzzle RPG type game. You're basically you have 3 moves. You're trying to line up 3 guys of the same color. Then they go into like a waiting mode where they're pending and they're slowly building up power. Depending on the type of guy, that can be anywhere from like 2 to like 6 turns. And then they go and attack, and they attack whatever's on the other side. It's very interesting. I played it originally on the DS. I played a ton of it on the DS. Right. The way that it works is you go through 5 different campaigns, and each time you kind of like have to start out from really weakness. Like you start off with the elves, you get your elves really strong, and then just as you're really starting to kick butt with the elves, you have to then go to the humans and start all over with the humans. And then you go to the undead, and then you go to the like demons, and then the wizards. And I'm on the 4th campaign this time. I'll probably review it again, or review it when I finish it. It's really, really good. I'm a little frustrated with a little bit on the controls, specifically around deleting units. And that could be because I'm playing on an iPod Touch. I'm wondering if maybe on an iPad it would be a little better, because then my fat finger wouldn't get in the way of, accidentally deleting the wrong unit or moving them somewhere I didn't quite mean to.
Right.
However, the game is really, really good. And I think it's like $5, and the campaign mode alone is really long. I would say probably like 15-ish hours. So, and then there's a couple other modes too. So it's the best price you're going to get it at. It's a really good game. However, the other thing is it's huge. You better have a lot of space free. I was trying to get it, and I was trying to get it for a while, but I just kept not having enough space to download it. So installed on mine, it is 1.9 gig.
Oh wow!
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So and I'm not quite sure why, but there is a little bit of voice acting in it, but not a ton, and it's huge. It's a really good game, though. Probably worth checking out. I'll probably do a better review talking about it next time, I would think. I'm close enough. Sorry, I'm going a little slow here. Then I've been playing Gun Brothers 2, Gun Bros. It's a dual stick shooter with the roided up brothers that are fighting weird aliens and just, lots of waves. They tried to make it a lot better. It's freemium. They did a good job at making the environments a lot more interesting. They added in some big monsters, which are kind of cool, like boss fights, which weren't in the first one. They added in like temporary vehicles, like you'll find a vehicle and be able to use it for 20 seconds to shoot stuff. they took away the annoying little system where you have to like put your explodium in a reactor, and then depending on how long you wait is how much you get. They took that out. They also added mods to your gun, so maybe you'll have the pistols still, but then you'll be able to use a special thing where the pistols or fire grenades as well. Just little things like that. They did a lot of polishing up, but for some reason I'm not really enjoying it, and it feels very, very, very grindy. So it's one that if you're going to want to play it, you're probably going to have to pony up some dollars, some real money. And unfortunately, they don't have like a coin doubler that I could see, which for me, that's my favorite type, because that means, less grinding, and I can still enjoy the game and feel like I'm supporting the developer. So your results might vary. If you really liked Gun Brothers 1, maybe this one's great to pick up. I probably won't be playing it enough to ever review it. So, and then I've been playing a little game called Raft Pirates. This game actually just came out last night. I think I've told you I always like to have one freemium game that I'm playing around with. Mm-hmm. I have a big hole because I picked up that what was that annoying game, Pixel People?
Right.
And I at first thought it was going to be great, so I deleted all my other freemium games so I could just focus on Pixel People. Well, I deleted Pixel People, and so I've had this big void that I've been desperately searching to try and find my freemium game to fill that void in my life. So far, nothing is stuck. I'm currently playing this little game called Raft Pirates. It's interesting because you're like robot pirates, and you have a raft, and you run around and you send your little diver down to pick up and salvage parts, and you're able to put all sorts of different weapons on your rafts so that when you come near other people's rafts you can kill them. Has a little MMO going to it because everyone's playing, and you can go into the safe water, you can hang out in the pirate water. It's fun. I'm not sure if it'll stick. Just we'll see. I get a little annoyed when people who spend a whole bunch of money then come and just kill me and that type of thing. And that's happened once today, so we'll see if that's something that happens a lot in it, because if it does, it kind of ruins the game. So, wow, that was a long list. I apologize.
You have been playing lots of stuff. That is good to see. That is good to see.
That's what happens when the wife's not around.
Awesome. All right, well, let's talk a little bit what I've been playing. Still playing Simpsons Tapped Out. I'm not going to talk much about this week to week because it's going to always be there. It's kind of my little addiction. But I want to talk a little bit about something that happened this month. They had the Valentine's Day promotion where you could do a bunch of different Valentine's Day things. You could get a bunch of different Valentine's Day decorations. You collect hearts and deliver Valentines, which give you hearts. Use those hearts to buy things in the game, yada, yada, yada. Well, they added in a content update that added a building, and they also added Ralph, which is one of the main characters from the show that everybody loves, and his whatever tastes like burning or whatever, that kid. So I was like, holy crap, finally I can get this guy. So I went and got him, but as soon as I did, the game kind of crashed, and I said, that's weird. And then I tried going back into the game, and the only thing that would happen when it tries to load the game is they would make a harp sound, and the harp sound would continue for as long as I'd left my iPad on. So essentially I was locked out of the game, and I'm like, that's really bizarre. So I deleted the game and re-downloaded it and installed it, and same problem. Played it on my phone, same problem. So for some reason, this update destroyed my ability to get into the game. I went on the official forums and saw hundreds and hundreds of posts of other people that had the exact same issue. Later, people were able to figure out that the reason that we were getting locked out was we were maxing our levels. So you'd place you'd do something like place a building to get a character or place the new restaurant, and you'd get a whole bunch of experience, which would then take you past the end of your level. And for some reason, the game wasn't tracking that properly. So when you tried to get back in the game, it didn't know what level you were. So it was just this endless loop of trying to get you into the game. It took EA almost 2 weeks to get me back in the game. So a game that I've spent money on, that I know a lot of other people have spent money on. They released a patch that I guess wasn't properly tested, and it destroyed the game for only the people that are their most crazy supporters, the people that have played it a lot to get up to level 26, which is the max level that you can get to. And I'm just like, how could this possibly happen? And why did it take like a week and a half? Maybe it wasn't 2 weeks. It was probably more like a week and a half, probably like 10 days. How did it take that long? Like, what are their engineers doing where it took that long? Just kind of blew me away. And it kind of really disappointed me. Since they're running an event that's timed, you only have a certain amount of time to do all the stuff. So by the time that I was allowed back in the game, I had to rush to do a couple things that I hadn't done before. Just kind of really soured a lot of things in my mouth. Wasn't too happy with it. They released a content update, a new version of the game today, which basically took away all of the Valentine's Day stuff. So if you hadn't finished it and you updated, you're done. You can't do any of that stuff anymore. So I'm gonna give it another chance. I'm gonna still play it for a bit, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was like really, really disappointing. And it's not like it was like a one or two people thing. Like if you went to their official forums, there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that were talking about this. And it took EA so long to get the update fixed. And it was just a server side fix. It wasn't a fix where they had to push a new version of the game. They just had to do something on their server. And they couldn't apparently do that in the previous 10 days. It took 10 days to run a SQL query to say, select all people whose level is level 26 and reset their experience to the start of level 26. That would take like 3 seconds to write that SQL query. Apparently it took them 10 days. So there you go. Damn you, EA. I'm not very happy with that.
I think they would fix it faster with how much money they're making off that game.
You would think so. It's always at the top of the shop, eShop, or the iOS shop charts, the App Store charts. And yeah, they apparently don't care, which was just really kind of a pain in the ass. It really kind of disappointed me. So,
what else have you played from EA?
Well, something else. We'll talk about that in a second. Played a couple other games. I picked up a game called Yearwalk. They're the developers that made that Bumpy Road or Bumpy Ride, where it was like a racing game where you tap the screen or move it, and it makes the road move up and down. It was a really kind of quirky, kind of funky looking thing. They
also did Beat Sneak Bandit.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did Beat Sneak Bandit. I forgot about that one. So yeah, so they have I guess a history of kind of quirky, fun games. So they came out with Yearwalk, and I thought, hey, this will be something that I want to play. It's going to be awesome. It's a puzzle game. It's kind of like a Myst, where you're just kind of exploring an environment. But they give absolutely no direction at all, which I guess is kind of like Myst. But I couldn't figure out what to do. So I basically like noodled around for about 40 minutes, and then I basically haven't gone back because I was just like, I have no idea what to do in this game. I'm exploring a forest that has snow. I'm going to areas where there are things, and I look at the things and nothing happens, and then I go look at more things where nothing happens, and then I go to a windmill and some woman talks to me, and then I go back to my house, and then I sleep, and then the game starts up again and nothing else happens. So it was just like, I don't understand. Maybe I'm not smart enough to get this one, so I'm putting it on the shelf. Maybe I'll get back to it, maybe not. I hear people that like it really like it, and people that don't. So maybe it's one of those polarizing games where you're going to be in the middle, or you're going to love it. Also playing a game called Major Magnet. Really, really interesting title. It's kind of a one-button press kind of auto runner, but you are a dude with a magnet suit. So the game revolves around you activating different points, and you activate like a little orb in the sky, and then you'll start orbiting around it, and then depending on when you touch it again, you'll fly off in different directions. It reminds me a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog, just the look, the feel, kind of the animation, the speed. My only downfall my only disappointment with this game, or its only downfall, is that it's only an iPhone game. It doesn't support the iPad, so you can play it on the iPad in 2x mode. But it's like, what year is it where the developers are releasing just an iPhone version of a game that does not have an iPad counterpart as a separate download or like a universal app? Kind of just really kind of confuse me, because a game like this would be perfectly suited on the iPad, where you'd have more screen real estate to touch the screen. You wouldn't be blocking any of the screen with your big fat fingers. So it kind of really disappointed me. So maybe they'll come up with an update or something. It's kind of cool. Maybe I'll review it in a couple weeks, depending on how far I get, depending on how frustrating it is playing it on my iPhone instead of my iPad. And today, or I guess yesterday, EA, or I guess Fire Monkey, released Real Racing 3. Jared, did you download Real Racing 3?
I did not. It costs too much.
I know, it's super expensive. It's a free title, but it is not free if you want to play it. So, essentially, it's a sequel to Real Racing. The game looks unbelievable. It looks like Gran Turismo 2, 3 quality graphics. Pretty damn amazing on my iPad. Problem with this game is it's free and it's freemium, so everything has a timer on it. So do you remember playing like Smurfs or Dragonvale, Jared? Do you know how you like those games?
Oh, I love Dragonvale.
And you know how you build a building and then it takes like a certain amount of minutes?
Yep.
You're blocking your face with your black iPod Touch.
Well, sorry. Don't look at my face then. I'm looking up Real Racing.
I will switch off your camera.
I'll move it down.
No, it's okay. So yeah, there's these timers set to things. Well, this is a racing game with timers. So you get in a crash when you're racing and you have to repair your vehicle. It's a timer. Well, actually, no. That's not true. There isn't a timer for that. There's a timer for standard repairs that you would make on your car, like changing your oil, replacing your tires, all that type of stuff. So there's a timer on that. If you want to upgrade your vehicle, there's a timer. So if you want to upgrade your engine, instead of every other racing game ever where you spend your money, it installs your upgrades and you're good to go, you have to wait some time. So I bought a new car today. I was playing it around a bit, and I wanted to add the first level of speed enhancement. It took 10 minutes to install that part, which was kind of stupid. I was going to say a different word, but no, it's kind of stupid. The worst part about this game is the fact that you can buy money, which isn't bad. There's a lot of games that have kind of the shortcut thing. So you could spend, I think it's like $5 and you get $150,000 in the game. You spend $5 of real money and I think it's like 150 or 180 or something, whatever that dollar amount is. I didn't do that, but if I did it, I'd be really upset because I would then spend that money to buy a new car. Well, you have to wait a half hour for that car to be delivered to your garage. So I bought money and then I bought a vehicle, and then that vehicle is not in my garage without having to wait 30 minutes. Or I could spend the premium currency to then have it auto appear. So I don't know. Well, it has to happen because there's no difference between the money you buy and the money you win. So anything that you do pretty much has a timer associated with it. That one thing where I bought my first car and it was going to take a half hour to appear in my garage just infuriated me to no end. Like, how stupid can you be?
That's bad.
So
I mean, I guess for me, the updates, like, upgrading your car, I can buy that. You have to take it to the shop and wait some time. But, I mean, when you buy it, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid. And so a lot of people are saying, well, just have multiple cars, then you won't have to worry about that, which I do. But if I want to get another car, I have to wait more time to do it. And it's just, I don't know, it's stupid. I don't like it. I want, like, sell it to me for $10 and take all that junk out of it. Allow me to just buy the stuff within game currency and not have to wait with timers. They've basically taken a franchise that I liked and that was really impressive, and they've kind of just destroyed it. I haven't gotten very far in it. I've probably raced 50 races. A lot of them was just trying to keep beating some of my friends on my friends list. Not really impressed. The freemium stuff or the premium stuff, pretty strong and a little bit intrusive, and more intrusive than most of the kind of in-app purchase freemium kind of stuff is. So I don't know if I'm going to keep up with it. We'll see. What I'm going to do is, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to start all my upgrades and I'm going to do all my repairs, and then I'll wake up in the morning. with both my cars being 100%, and try a couple more races and see what I can do there. But yeah, I'm not liking it so far. What I am liking is the fact that it links to your Facebook, and automatically whenever you complete a race, it uploads a ghost of that race. And then when you're playing the game, when you join an event, you're actually playing against real people. You know, like you're playing against other people. Like I was playing against Anthony, of all people, today. I was playing against his ghost, and I destroyed it. So, suck that, Anthony. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool. But all the coolness is kind of just like, I don't know, it's all destroyed and because of all the crappy in-app purchase and waiting and freemium stuff that they've tacked onto it. So I don't know if I'm a fan. Like I said, I'm going to give it a little bit of a chance, but I don't know. So far, not really impressed with it. So I don't know. Jared, if you're not a fan of this stuff, you probably should stay away. Yeah,
I actually might go play Real Racing 2.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing, especially since it was like $1 for the last little while. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to go do that.
No, I might think that I'll enjoy that more, but I've just been really surprised. I think that this is an important moment, kind of around the freemium world, and just to see how it does. It seems really intrusive and really heavy-handed.
Like I buy a car, and I have to wait for it to be delivered. And if I was someone that spent a lot of money on money in the game and I had to wait for a car, I would just be so livid. I would be so upset. Like, how is that possible? Like, how did someone think that was a good idea, Jared? I don't understand.
Let's see. Is it in top grossing apps yet?
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I didn't check. I
just went down through 50. I don't see it.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Hopefully they stop being stupid and sell me a version of this game without all that other crap in it. So anyway.
Apparently number 69. We'll check on it next week.
Cool. All right, so that's about all for what I've been playing, and that's enough grumpiness for one podcast. Let's get into notable releases. Of course, Real Racing 3, it's free, but some other games came out that are actually kind of interesting looking. I haven't played any of them except for one of them, so we'll talk about that. Toy Story Smash It was released. So this is a Toy Story themed game. It's 99 cents, and it's kind of like if you've ever heard of a game called Boom Blocks on the Wii, or a couple of games on the iOS platform that I can't think of right now. But basically, you're one of the characters. I think like all the screenshots show you being Buzz, but you have to be other people, I'm sure. But basically, you're throwing balls at blocks and trying to break structures and things like that. So you're basically just destroying things by throwing things at it. So all the stuff you did as a kid, you'd build a big block fort and then you destroy it. And that's what you do in this game. It looks really cool. It's fully physics-based, so when you knock something over, it can knock other things over, and et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of like a 3D version of Angry Birds. Looks really good. I'm really thinking of picking it up for my kids to play because they really enjoyed Boom Blocks, but yeah, it was kind of dangerous after a while when they're like almost throwing Wiimotes through my television. So this would be probably a little bit better because I don't think you actually have to throw around your iPad or iPhone, which is a very good thing. So check that one out if you're into those types of games. A game called Avp Evolution came out, so Aliens vs Predator Evolution. $5. I have not heard a review. I have not seen any reviews on the App Store. I don't know if it's worth $5 or worth 5 cents, but I wanted to mention it because it is a big brand. It's by Fox Studios, so maybe it's okay. I don't know. But your mileage may vary, so definitely look into any of the App Store reviews if you're going to be picking this one up. It's a licensed game, and those really do have a habit of being terrible. So just take that into account before you pick that one up. Ice Striker 2 Air Assault came out. This is a game I will be picking up. It is a sequel to Ice Striker, obviously, and it is a top-down shooter, so similar to old shooters like the 1942 or other ones. It looks like they've taken what the original did, and they've added a lot more to it. The game looks bigger, looks better, looks more bullet helly. which is kind of what all these top-down shooters have turned into. Is kind of like bullet hell, but it looks really, really well done. It's $1, so I'll be picking it up for sure. There's 6 different missions that you compete in, so looks really good. I'm sure it supports the iCade and things like that, even though I can't see it in the description, but that would be definitely a game that I'd want to play on my iCade. I believe the old one did, so this should be a good game to dig out the old iCade. And last but not least, remember Trenches 2, Jared?
Yes, I do.
It is now free, and you're saying, did that game come out a year ago, Lloyd?
Yeah, Lloyd, that game came out a year ago. EA published it, right?
That's right. EA did publish it. But I guess they only had a 1-year publishing deal with EA. So Thunder Gameworks has released the game for free. So if you already haven't picked it up, if you didn't buy it initially when it was on EA, or if you did and you want to have a version that will be updated by the developers, you can download this one for free. They're going to be keeping it free for a couple weeks, I believe. So definitely worth picking up now. And with the developers taking it over and going through the hassle of releasing a new app binary on the App Store, I can only imagine that they have a bunch of updates planned for this game. So check it out if you're into that type of game. It's kind of like a side-scrolling auto fighter where you basically have to summon enemies or summon your soldiers, and then they just run in a straight line to get to the end of the level, and they destroy anything in their path until they die. That type of game.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the rumor is that they're doing this because they were not happy with EA as their publisher. That they were being a bit slow on doing what Thunder Gameworks wanted to do with it. So it's interesting that they were so unhappy with it that they would go as far as to release their own version of it. And it just seems very interesting to go to this extent so that they can have control of the publishing side of it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that they would go to the hassle of doing that. Hopefully it works out for them. Hopefully they can bring it back. And because I remember when the game first came out and there was like all this buzz behind it, and then I didn't hear about it again. So yeah, maybe EA wasn't doing enough promoting it. Maybe that's a bit of the problem.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Cool. All right, moving on. Let's get into the news. Remember that game Puzzlecraft, Jared? Remember how much fun we had with Puzzlecraft?
Do you remember when Puzzlecraft updated and ruined our game like 3 times each?
Those were the days. Replaying the game to get all my stuff back, that was awesome. Remember after the last time that they released an update that ruined everybody's game, they said they're coming out with updates right away?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was like in, what, September? October?
It was so long ago. I think it was before I had children. It was so long ago, Jared. They finally released the update, and I don't know. I think it's kind of too little too late for me. I don't see myself playing it. I dug it out because I still had it on my iPad, and I played through it a little bit, and yeah, it didn't really excite me like it once did. In this update, they added a bunch of new buildings, a bunch of new people, a bunch of new tools, and they added a mechanic called treasure hunting. So what you do is you buy treasure maps, and then they'll randomly appear in the mine. And to open a treasure map, you have to touch the treasure map, and then it shows you how many things it needs. So say if it's one of the base treasure maps, it shows you that it needs 18 stones. So then you have to draw, or I think it's dirt. So you draw your line through 18 dirt, and then you have to end that chain on the treasure chest, and then the treasure chest opens and you get a item that gets unlocked. And all that item does is show up in your museum, and you get achievements for collecting all of these treasures. And that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get it, Jared. Did you play it at all?
Yeah, I did, and I went and I was kind of disappointed because I'm not sure how you got your item to show up in the museum, but the first item that I got actually was just more tools, and I'm like, oh really? Great, I got more tools. Yeah, it was like 12 of one of the tools, and I was like,
that's horrible.
That's lame. And I think maybe it's because I haven't built a museum yet.
That's probably what it is.
But I went and that's not it because I don't see museum available to build. But yeah, it feels like they tried to extend the game artificially a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you look like all the stuff, you can't get your new Imperial Castle until you get to level 50. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
The last level max was 25, but if you kept playing, apparently it was still accruing your experience, because my wife was stupid addicted to this game. Like, she would play it every day, and I'm like, Kara, you're not doing anything. She's like, yeah, I'm getting stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't use that stuff for anything. She's like, sure, I could buy tools. And I'm like, yeah, but then you're buying the tools to get more stuff, which then you use to get more tools to get more stuff. Like, you're not doing anything. You've already built everything there is. She's like, shut up. I enjoy the game. Just leave me alone. I'm like, all right. Well, apparently when she installed this update, she leveled up all the way to level 50. So
previously it was actually 30.
Oh, it was 30? Okay.
And the level cap is now 60, not 50.
Oh, okay. But you can build the thing at 50.
Yeah, you can build the top thing at 50, just like you could build the other one at 25. So I had the exact same thing, except it wasn't my wife, it was my mom.
Oh, nice.
My mom, I get a text from her on Wednesday when it came out, and she's like, well, I updated, and I leveled immediately up to level 53. And I was just like, what?
Wow.
How long have you been playing that game? Like,
that's exactly like Kara. She leveled up to level 50. And she's like, yeah, I could build a castle, but I have to do all this other stuff first, I guess. It's like, what? Yeah. How much did you play? I was like, I don't want to know. Let's leave it as it is. I think when I leveled up, I leveled to 32. So I had played a little bit past. 2 levels past, I guess, would be the math on that one. Yeah, so it's out. Not super exciting to me, but I'm sure it's going to get a lot of people playing it. It's a free update anyway to a game that is free, so you might as well check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, it was one of our top 10 games on both of our lists, and I think one of the big things was it didn't get updated. I'm just surprised with how much success that they did not try to update this a little faster. This seems like they would have tried to strike while the iron was hot, and instead it's just kind of, been 3 months or 5 months.
Maybe it took them this long to ensure that they didn't erase anybody else's save game.
Maybe that was what it is. So far, I haven't heard any reports of save game losses. I actually did go check some forums just to make sure that no one was mentioning losing their save game when they did this update.
What a joke, that whole thing. Anyway, moving on. Jared, why don't you tell us about Civilization Revolution? Why doesn't Civilization Revolution tell us about Jared? As I was about to say, because I apparently can't talk tonight. Jared, it got an update. Why don't you tell us about it?
So I've been a big fan of Civilization Revolution. For me, it's just a really good, simplified. I really enjoy the 4X strategies, and it's been one of my favorites. In fact, it's even made it into the elusive folder on my thing that is favorites, with some really great games. So I pull it out every once in a while, and it seems like whenever I play it, I end up playing it until my battery dies, and just really enjoying it and getting sucked into it. Well, they updated it, and they now have asynchronous multiplayer, as well as they added some new wonders and graphics. However, they added them all as in-app purchases.
Oh.
So it costs, I think, $3 or $4 for the new wonders and that type of thing. And then I don't remember the actual cost of the multiplayer, but I think it's $4 or $5.
Yeah, sounds right. I remember reading that.
It's currently $1, so at least that part is cheap for the actual main game. And the thing I wanted to say here is I am very interested in playing this. I would love to see how it works. However, it's $2.99. $2.99 and then $3.99 for the wonders and building packs and unit packs. So I'm very interested in this. I really, really like this game. So if any listeners out there also like it and are wanting to play around with it, please contact me in the forums. Do something. I don't want to spend it unless somebody else is going to. I know I'm going to have a couple of opponents. So hop in the forums or contact me on Twitter or do something and let us know so that I can make sure that if someone else is going to want to play asynchronous with me, that I'd be happy to play it with them. So it'd probably be a pretty long game though if you're playing asynchronous multiplayer. So we'll see.
Yeah, like Civ games can go for a long time. Yeah.
Can you imagine just taking one turn and then waiting for someone else to take theirs?
Oh my god, that would take forever. It's
yeah,
like the 3-year game.
I really do enjoy the game though. So I mean, if someone's interested in it, please let me know.
Cool. All right, moving on. Remember Sword and Poker? And we talked like a long time ago how it just like disappeared off the App Store.
Dude, this thing is like Houdini. It keeps disappearing and coming back and disappearing and coming back.
It's so good. It was such a great game. So Sword and Poker, $2.99. Sword and Poker 2, $3.99. They are now back on the App Store. So this game came out in 2010. So it's like 3 years old. It is still such a fun game to play. It's essentially a puzzle game where you're putting cards down in a grid to make poker hands, and you're fighting while doing that. So if you make a strong hand, you do damage to a creature. If you kill the creature, you get to go on to the next level. It was just like this weird, crazy mix of awesome poker and awesome puzzle all kind of blended, and then an RPG mixed into it as well. A lot of fun, definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And if you once owned it but then couldn't install it anymore because it disappeared from the App Store, you can now go reinstall it, which is a good thing. So go do that. So check it out. Sword and Poker and Sword and Poker 2 now back on the App Store. That's a good thing.
Man, I want Sword and Poker 3.
I was hoping that when they released these two, it was because they were releasing the third one, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's one of those gems, like just a weird game that is so good. So if you don't have it, pick it up now before it disappears. If you have bought it and you've lost it, go back it up on your computer so that when it disappears again, you can make sure and keep it, etc.
Exactly. Cool. Moving on. This is more of a nice little note than an actual news item. And it's not even about a game, but it's cool. If you have the Facebook app on your device, you might have noticed that you can make free long-distance phone calls, or you can make voice messages between people. They've updated that. So Facebook's updated it so that you can make free long-distance phone calls to the US and Canada right from your Facebook app. So it's kind of like in Gmail where you could do that. You could do that before. So this is in the main Facebook app. So not the Facebook Messenger app where you could make kind of voice messages between people. This is like real, like dial a phone number and you're making a phone call built right into the app. So Facebook's getting into VoIP, which is really kind of interesting. I wonder where that's going to go. Maybe in the future we can use that for our connection when Skype gives us difficulties, Jared.
Okay.
We'll try that out. So anyway, check it out. If you don't have Facebook on your device, you probably don't care, so you can just ignore it. But if you are a Facebook user and you want to make free long-distance calls, now you have a chance to go and do that.
Perfect. And our last is also another update. So we've had kind of a lot of updates to talk about that have been big, important, cool updates. So this is for Plague Inc. And you'll remember that Plague Inc. was the game where you play a virus and try to kill the world, which it's really fun. Highly recommend the game. However, they just came out with the new Necroa Virus. So it allows you to basically have zombies and turn the world into zombies as you try to take over the world.
Sweet.
And kill it. It does cost $1.99.
Not sweet.
They now have the last two have come out as $1.99 DLC. You know, them trying to make a little bit more money on their game, which is understandable, but also sad. But you know.
Yep. Wonder how they do. I wonder if they get very many sales. If they would get more positive buzz and more sales of the main game by releasing it as a free update, or if they make more money by selling it. Wonder.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting. Interesting thoughts about how to market applications when you get into that type of stuff. All right, cool. So that's going to do it for news. We have a couple reviews for you guys this week. Both Jared and I are going to do one review. Jared, do you want to kick it off, or should I go first?
So I actually just said it says that you can get the Necroa Virus free by beating everything on Brutal.
Okay. Oh, so they're making them unlockable by defeating everything on all the difficulties.
By doing things that are really, really hard.
Wow. Yeah, I have problems beating it on easy some of the levels, so, or some of the virus types, so I don't think that's something I'll ever do.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, so you want me to start off since I have 2 reviews then?
Sure, yeah, do it.
All right, so I'm going to start off with Momonga Pinball Adventures. So this one came out, and people were calling it kind of an RPG mixed with a pinball game, and I was, interested in that, thought it sounded like an interesting idea. And essentially what the game is you play a flying squirrel. I guess that's probably the best what it is, and you're trying to, rescue your people, etc. And there are a bunch of, I think they're owls, if I remember right. Yep. The bad guys.
Yep.
The bad guys are attacking, and they're all owls. And you're trying to rescue, and the way that you do that is by going through different levels and playing pinball. The pinball, there's no real. The levels aren't particularly intricate. Usually there's maybe 1 or 2 things to hit, and then you go on to the next area of the pinball course. And when you move on to the next area course, there's new flippers, and so it's not like you're having to hit that new area from the old area. So it feels a little bit simplified in pinball, because I know that lots of times in pinball you're having to go through and hit the same areas, and then they morph into different things. So that's a little bit interesting. The way that they do it is you go and you play the game, play the level, and then after you beat it once, you can take it on again, and they will give you a specific challenge. However, it's kind of annoying because you can't try any of the other challenges. There's 5 stars on each level. Each star represents a different challenge. So a very minimum number of times you would have to play each level to max out your stars would be 5. However, some of the missions are incredibly tough, and you have to play them just exactly perfect. Maybe you have to hit all of the blocks in one area before moving on. And there's nothing more frustrating than if you accidentally go on, because it is a pinball game. I wish you can't. Maybe I'm just not very good at it, but you don't always have 100% control. And so you flip it, and you go on, and all of a sudden you just lost your perfect run trying to get that star. Happens quite a bit, and that got a little frustrating about the game. There's a lot of levels in it. I think there's 12 or something, and then they are planning on doing a bunch more. So it has a kind of pretty art style, and then the weird thing is you get to the last level, and there is an enormous difficulty spike. So just to get through the levels, I think most people, after a couple of tries, they could get through each level and get the first star on them. But then all of a sudden at the end, in order to beat that last owl, I don't want to give any spoilers here, but it is extremely hard. All of a sudden you have to hit him 9 times. You have to hit something else before you can hit him. And it's just extremely, extremely difficult. I've been looking at reviews and other people, and they are all commenting on the same thing about how there's a massive difficulty spike on the last end guy. It reminds me of do you remember in how old NES games, sometimes all of a sudden the last bad guy would just be absolutely impossible?
Yeah, totally.
I'm trying to think, it seems like maybe Star Tropics or something like that. You'd be playing along, and all of a sudden the last end guy would just be so hard, and it was almost like they were trying to extend out your fun because they wanted you to, keep trying and not give up on this game, and they figured you had already invested a lot. It feels like that, and it's really annoying. And then if you look at the challenges on him, they're incredibly difficult. I just can't even imagine how long you would have to try and play it, or how many tries, unless there's a pinball wizard. And even if you're a pinball wizard, you're not quite as good of a pinball wizard on a touchscreen device, I would say. So it's a good game. I enjoyed it. I think it was 99 cents when I got it. So I think it keeps going, and they're playing around with the price a lot. So maybe watch for it to go on a sale. I'm having a difficult time deciding what to give this. I think I would recommend people try it. So I'm going to say it's a 4 out of 5. It's probably not like a must-have, but it's a good game, and it's fun. But just be prepared that last level is going to be difficult. It's a doozy. So again, that's Momonga Pinball Adventures, and it is $1. Or do you know the current price?
I think it is still 99 cents.
Still 99 cents. Okay. Yeah. So it's 4 out of 5 for me. You said that you had played it some, but not enough to review it, right?
Yeah, I played the first level. Pretty much is pretty much all I did. First
fun.
world or whatever. It's
fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, it is 99 cents. Just looked it up. And it's a good game. So, like I said, 4 out of 5. Give it a try. And yeah. Oh, there's also your Panda Sensei and, lots of other goofy.
It's very Japanese.
Characters in it.
It's very Japanese.
There you go. It's very Japanese. Well put.
Because it is it's Japanese flying squirrels, and I guess their natural predator is the owls that are basically you're trying to defeat them. So there is some sort of something in it anyway that is making you, I don't know, go and do it. If you know I guess all the stories from Japan, which I don't, but it's a good game. I really kind of dug it, but I only, as I said, only played like the first world and said, yeah, this is cool. Maybe I'll get to it some other time. The whole having to replay levels multiple times to get all the stars really kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, I wish you could go and try and play for multiple stars at once, or I don't know exactly how to. Some of them are just so difficult that I gave up. I mean, I would try the next star, and you have to beat one star before the next. It's not like you can say, oh, I can do that third one and go take it on. You have to beat the second one first. Mm-hmm. And so the way I played it was I would try like 2 or 3 times to get the next star, and if I failed, I would just move on because it just wasn't worth it to me. So
yeah, it's probably a good thing to do. All right, let's move on. Is my mic volume really low for you or something?
No, you sound fine.
Wow, it's so weird. I'm not hearing myself in my headphones all of a sudden. It's really throwing me off here. All right, let's get into my review for today. I'm going to talk about a game called Relic Rush. This game was released by Forest Moon. Basically, they were what is it, Crescent Moon Software, and then they released another label called Forest Moon. This one's released under that other label, and Forest Moon is more casual than the Crescent Moon type stuff. So Relic Rush is a auto runner, a retro kind of 8-bit looking auto runner where you are basically an Indiana Jones type person, and you have to get an idol that is in I guess I don't know, a dungeon or something. Each level is kind of a little bit different. And the only control that you have in this game is by touching the screen. So, and when you touch the screen, you stop. So you are auto running until you touch the screen, and then you're not running. And then when you let go of the screen, you are running again. And that is the entirety of the game. Each level has an idol, as I said, and the idol will change colors depending on how long it takes you to get to it. So you'll get either a bronze, silver, or gold idol. And the actual each level is divided into 8 mini stages. So if you die, like if you touch something, you appear at the bottom of the level, and you have to redo it, and you have to keep going over and over and over and over again until you get to the top, and then you go into the next one, do that until you get to the top, go into the next one, all the way to get to the 8th stage. That 8th stage has the idol, and when you touch it, you keep it, and you get this fanfare, and then you go on to the next world. And that's essentially it. The game is super simple, but it is really beautiful. The pixel art is great. It reminds me a lot of like old Pitfall, but with a lot more detail. And it was fun to play. I guess about halfway through the game, and I guess I probably got about halfway through all the levels that were available. It kind of just stopped doing it for me. I let my kids play it, and they loved it after that. So I don't know. I guess it's one of those games where you have to be the right kind of person, or you have to be I don't know, in that kind of mood for something totally casual, like kind of a one hand kind of gaming thing. Like this should have come out when you had your newborn, Jared. This would have been a perfect one button game that you were looking for. But yeah, that's Relic Rush. There's about 100 levels, I believe, from reading on the developers page. I haven't beaten them all, but I've beaten enough to say, yep, I'm done with Relic Rush. It's 99 cents in the App Store, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. To me, it's just really simplistic, which isn't a horribly bad thing, but I'm kind of looking for a little bit more out of my games, even kind of the more casual games. As I said, my kids love it, which is the only reason why I'm giving it a 3, because they really like it. They play it a lot. Yeah, I guess that's it. Your mileage may vary with this one, but Relic Rush, 99 cents in the App Store, gets a 3 out of 5.
All right, and now for my last review of the day, I'm going to be reviewing Call of Snakes, which, when I described it last time, you thought I was kind of strange.
I did.
Which is okay. So Call of Snakes, again, it's a snake game. However, each of your little, instead of getting a snake that you get longer and longer, you get a chain of guys that are shooting. So I think it's a play on Call of Duty plus snakes. It is a really interesting game, and actually the way that I found this game was because somebody mentioned that the new game by Nimblebit is actually going to look or use some of the things that come from Call of Snakes. And so I was interested in trying this one out just to kind of see what it was. And yeah, it's interesting. So to start off the game, it's by Magic Cube, 99 cents. But essentially what you do is you pick your first guy. You pick one of 6 units. You kind of have like the sniper that can shoot a long distance but only in a straight line. You have the heavy armor guy that can shoot a wide range but not very far in front of him. And then, different variations. The strangest to me is that there's a medic, and the medic doesn't shoot anything, and so you can't take out any of the little baddies that start shooting at you until you start adding on to your little snake. If you die or lose life, and you don't beat a level, then your guys take 5 to 6 minutes to heal, which means that you either need to use someone else or actually leave the game. Yeah. This is a little annoying, but you do earn premium currency occasionally, and you can use that premium currency as necessary.
Is it being released by FireMonkey by any chance?
No, and it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. So it's interesting because it's very simple controls. You just play like you're playing a snake game, and I don't know about you, but man, when I first got my first cell phone, I got like ridiculous high scores on Snake because that was the only game that was on my cell phone. And I had like this whole pattern, and you can't really do that because the little baddies will appear everywhere. The good guys will appear like tied up, and you have to run your snake by them and run over them, and then you will begin to, or you'll throw out another unit behind you that you can use, and it adds more firepower. It's always nice when you get a good collection. That's one thing where this game falls a little bit short, is it's not like you have any control over what units pop out and then you add them to your little chain. And sometimes you really, really need a medic, and they won't give you a medic. And so you have people dying, or maybe you need a sniper so that you can take out long distance ones. The trick of the game is oftentimes to try and figure out ways to sneak up behind them, or the bad guys that pop up, but you don't want to spend too much time sneaking up behind them because the game does give you 1 to 3 stars. I have a big complaint on the the way they do achievements in this game. So you get one achievement for completing all the levels, and then all the other achievements are around multiplayer and getting wins in multiplayer, which is kind of annoying, especially because I went and tried to log into multiplayer to give it a shot and say, hey, you know, how's this work? And I waited for about 20 minutes and never got anyone to play with me. So,
jeez,
you have to have a few more people playing your game before you can tie so much of your game to multiplayer. If maybe because it's a little bit older, that's why. But even then, I'm looking at it. Looks like it only has like 18,000 downloads. So it's funny too, because like the first one is like win one multiplayer game, then win 5, 10, 20. So the last achievement is win 1,000 multiplayer games.
What?
So apparently they think you're going to play this a lot with the other 18,000 people that have this game that apparently don't get on it that often, because I waited for like 20 minutes just. And it was one of those things that I probably wouldn't have waited so long, but I was really interested to try it. And, you know, because I knew I'd be talking about it here, I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, sometimes opposing snakes will pop up on the screen. They're usually a little harder. And what's really annoying is you'll have a really good strategy and you'll be approaching someone really calmly and have a really good angle on him. And then all of a sudden one of the opposing snakes will like run out in front of you, and then your character automatically dies. But besides that, it's an okay game. I'm really excited to see the Nimblebit version, to be honest, because Touch Arcade had a Touch Arcade Plays on it, and it looks really exciting because you have like wizards and knights and stuff like that, and I think that it'll be a good adaptation. So yeah, I'm actually only going to give this a 3 out of 5, and unfortunately there's just insufficient players to make the multiplayer any fun, because obviously I spent forever and never found anyone, and the front game is just not that great. So yeah, that's Call of Snakes. Again, it's by Magic Cube, and it is 99 cents on the App Store. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
Awesome. All right, man. Thanks for your reviews this week. I lied. I said we're going to only be doing 2 reviews, but you actually did 2 reviews, and then I did 1. So that is 3 if my math is correct. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but I think that is 3 reviews in this episode.
We'll give you a pass. It's pretty late for you.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode of the Touch of Gaming podcast. As always, thanks everybody for subscribing. Thanks for all the feedback and joining the forums and chatting with us there. Head on over to vgpodcast.com and let us know what you think by clicking contact us at the top of the page. You can email us directly at vgpodcast@gmail.com or call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. So, Jared, thanks again for joining me. Enjoy your bachelor life for another few days.
Yeah, you better watch out, man. I'm totally going to catch up to you on the Game Center scores.
You're going to have 18 games to review next week. It's going to be amazing.
You're going to be like, Jared, how do you have so many games to review? And I'm going to be like, I don't know.
I'm a bachelor, buddy.
That's what happens.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And we'll talk to you next week. Take it easy.